P.1 Real Numbers. Oh, I was self-conscious then.
I could tell you were saying it.
I was like, I don't know what to say.
I was thinking about his smile.
Meanwhile, I was trying to not.
Exactly.
Okay, describe and graph the interval of real numbers. We have the closed interval from -3 to 3. So, what is this going to look like?
Oh.
How about,
Like we draw things.
Oh, like that.
Oh, I was thinking dots.
That's what I was thinking.
I was thinking
The dots.
So it's brackets.
well, it is technically closed or open, but yes, this is the notation we need to use from here on out, not circles. Let's see. So 10 is given to us a little bit differently. It says x is greater than or equal to 2 and less than or equal to 6. So if I was going to actually write this in terms of like symbols instead, what would I have?
6 is greater than x. Wait.
Do we want to have things
Go in
like-
order.
Wait.
Like 2,
Yes, but go in order.
2
Oh.
less than x, less than 6. Well, then like the equal to.
Yeah.
On both.
Yep. Just so that it's written in order. But yes, what you said was technically right. That's why I was like, wait a second, where's she going with this? But then you said the right symbol, but then I was like, well, it's going to be backwards. So then now that makes it easier to graph because we have it like this. If it's or equal to, am I using brackets or parentheses?
Parentheses.
I'm thinking brackets. Because
Parentheses.
brackets seem like they include.
I'm
the-
set.
It's like brackets.
It's brackets.
Dang it.
Because brackets are inclusive. Parentheses are not.
If brackets just look like they would include things more.
Same lines.
All right. Next is to use an inequality to describe the interval of real numbers. So the first ones, they give you an interval -infinity to 4. And they want us to rewrite this in inequality notation, basically. So we want it to look like this. So how would we go about writing this one?
Is that opening parentheses and closing brackets?
Yes.
Okay. So would we like have the line, number line thingy?
We're not graphing.
Oh,
We're writing it like this,
oh.
or in that notation.
So -infinity less than. Is there an x in this one?
Well, there will be.
Less than x, then less than or equal to 4.
Yep. The other option you could have done is we could have also just said x is less than or equal to 4, because that would be assumed it goes out to infinity. So something to keep in mind, infinity can only ever be open, like because it goes on, the bracket implies that there's a cap on it and it can't go past that. But we don't know what infinity is, so we can't do that. All right, so 14. Same instructions, but this time they give us a number line graph. And it goes, the graph is from -5 to 5, so. Now, on the actual graph, I'm going to do it in red so you can see it. There's a bracket at -2 and a parentheses at 2. And it's filled in the middle. So, how would I go about writing this one?
U2 is less than or equal to x is less than 2.
Yep. So this is inequality notation. If it's written like this here, like the problem 12 was, that is what we call interval notation. So make sure you pay attention to which thing it's asking for. On quizzes and tests, the most common mistake is people just not reading the instructions and giving me the wrong form. So just make sure you pay attention to that. Sometimes in the same problem, I may say, like if I had given you a graph, write this in inequality notation and interval notation. So just make sure you read that just to make sure you don't miss something.
Is x 0, or is it just anything in between those two numbers?
It's just anything in between.
Okay.
It can be equal to -2, but it can only get all the way up to like 1.99999 and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Because it can't actually touch +2.
Yeah.
Use interval notation to describe the interval of real numbers. So basically same thing, we're just writing intervals this time. So they start us with -7 is less than x is less than -2. So we want it in interval notations. We want it to look like problem 12, like what it originally looked like. Or that like notation. So what is that going to look like for this one?
Parentheses, -7, -2, parentheses.
Yep. We could obviously do 14 I'm just trying to say from writing another graph. So if we were to do this one in interval notation, problem 14, what would it be?
Brackets, -2, 2 parentheses.
Yep. So the nice thing about this way of graphing versus the open and closed circle is basically you just copy it off the graph. So that's the positive to that one. This next one is going to require us to infer a few things. Not like really, but kind of. It says x is positive. So what does that mean?
It is greater than 0.
So how would I write that?
X is greater than or
Do you want like?
I'm still in interval
parentheses?
notation. Yeah, these problems are still interval
Okay.
notation.
So like parentheses 0, and then infinity, then parentheses.
Yep. Why'd you not include 0?
Because 0 isn't positive or negative, it's just 0.
Good. A lot of people like to include it. I'm like, it's not positive. It's also not negative. It's just 0. All right, any questions about those ones? I'm skipping over the ones that say to like say it in words because basically when it asks you to say it in words, essentially you're just saying it's the open interval from 0 to infinity. Like that's basically what it is. So since you're already kind of saying that and kind of thinking it in your mind, I'm not going to have you actually like do those, but that's what it would be wanting you to do if it was. Okay. These ones say to convert to inequality notation. So it's giving you interval notation. Then find the endpoints and state whether the interval is bounded or unbounded in its type. So that's going to be back to basically these charts that you had. So have those ready to refer to.
I think I did the wrong notes.
I don't think that
Because mine
we
are
did
all-
with that we had those.
I
in the
did
notes.
commutative associative. That was all that was in the video.
Yeah, I like maybe you got to that in like maybe a later part,
No, I watched the whole thing.
but I'm not
I
talking
accidentally-
about you, Virginia.
Huh? Oh.
Oh, well, okay.
Okay, hold on.
But like,
Do you
weren't
have
they-
this?
No, but weren't they saying that like someone else was like
This is what we had.
in class?
So you have this properties. Hold on.
Yeah.
Properties of additive inverses.
Only have
Properties of
properties of
exponents.
That's all.
And you had this.
Yes.
But you didn't have this either. Order and interval notation.
No.
Okay, well, we're gonna need to pause because otherwise you're gonna be even more confused than you already are.
That's what I'm the first
I
one
think
was
this
doing
happened
that.
last year. Like, I think this happened last year and I did the video then for it. Okay. So you basically have none of these notes.
Yeah. Pretty much.